Hello, PHS Juniors. Welcome to a quick video on the ACT that is coming up for you guys on February 23rd. You guys have probably heard that there is an ACT test that's coming up, and we need to get you guys prepped and ready for it. You guys have already been doing a lot of work really the last semester and into this semester doing some ACT prep. But I just wanted to kind of go over and reiterate a couple really important things for you guys, including this website, which is a resource for you guys to use going forward. It's a new website that I just launched. The link is in Rocket Dispatch, and you're also going to get in the email that I've sent to you. You're going to have access to that website there as well. And so on this website, I'm including a ton of information for the ACT that is coming up and any sort of references for the SAT as well. Both of these tests are just tests that help you figure out really just to show your understanding of high school material. It's not always the best gauge of intellect or preparation, but it's a really good thing to think about and prepare for as much as you can. And so what we're going to do now is just kind of walk through some resources for you. The reason why this is also important is because there's some dates here that some Sylvan test prep sessions will be held. There are more, and you'll see those in the email I've sent you, and there are more to come. So upcoming test prep things will be listed on here, as well as in emails you'll be receiving. And so one quick thing to note is why these tests are important. And so if you click on this link, which you will have access to, you're going to see that there is this kind of overview of really what the ACT does for students. And what it does is actually helps you with college costs. So I'm going to kind of zoom in here so you can see it. These are public schools in North Carolina. These are private schools in North Carolina. And what the ACT does is, as you can see, these are the ACT scores and these are the SAT scores. And this is the tuition at each of these schools per year. So UNC Charlotte has $3,812 per year, and that's an estimate. It will change every year, but just an estimate of what that would look like. Now, what this graph is showing us is what the ACT can do for you in terms of the tuition costs. So as you can see, the blue little boxes are places for you to see how the ACT score has dropped your tuition cost. So if you get a 23 at NCCU, you can have a tuition cost of $6,856, which is quite less than what you can see over here, which is their typical amounts. And I want to remind you that the ACT score is just one type of way for you to decrease your cost of college. We're also going to be completing the FAFSA, which is this financial aid form, money, financial stuff. We're going to be completing that in October of your senior year, and that can help reduce costs as well. But this is just a great way to see that as your ACT score goes up, so does your tuition costs. There's also a way to see that there are gray boxes here, and those show that, let's see, what do those show? The 28 ACT, if you were to get that at St. Augustine, that would actually give you a zero cost, and that's based on a separate application that you would be completing. And so you can see that the ACT score provides really different options at different schools. And two, the next way to point this out is these little non-colored boxes. And these are how the schools work with financial aid and work with these ACT scores as well. So let's kind of talk about UNCG. What they're saying is that automatic awards are based on academic merit and need, and full tuition, room and board are available by application. So you'd have to do UNCG a little bit differently because it won't be completely based off your ACT. Now, one thing to think about is just these 4 years, wherever they're public or private, sometimes private schools can offer you more financial aid along with these ACT amounts. So it's just important to consider that. This whole little PDF is available on the website. So I'm going to kind of hop off of this, and if you want to revert back to it, you can always do that. So again, ACT, really important. It can actually help with tuition and save you money. Again, it's not the only way to save money, and more information about that can be found at our FAFSA or scholarships page on this website. Now, moving on from why the ACT and the SAT matter is how are you going to increase your score, which is like a 23 or up or whatever. How can you get your score up to that amount? The ACT is really just a game of how much you prepare. And so one way to do that is by getting a paper test. And as your college advisor at Person High School, I have lots of paper tests. They look like this. They feel kind of weird and they're pretty flimsy, but they have all of the test questions. This is just an actual practice test for you. And so what we can do is you can come up to my office. We'll be socially distanced as you do this, and you can actually grab one from me and take it home and actually do your own practice test yourself. I recommend timing yourself as you do this because as you're going to see in a little bit, the ACT has subject tests, right? So it's like math, English, reading, and science. Those are the types of sections inside of this that have questions next to them, and they're all timed. And so just know that that's kind of something to expect. And as you're doing a practice test, you can just time yourself and see how it goes. You can get more from me if you need to, and we'll talk a little bit more about some other resources for you. But I wanted to make sure that you know that you can get a physical one just in case you want to practice before the day of the test, which is the 23rd for you guys. Now, you guys should all have access to OntoCollege. OntoCollege is the thing that you're doing in Rocket Seminar. If you don't have access to this, please notify me as soon as you can. This will give you some test overviews and some really quick question walkthroughs. It also has Quizlets, which are basically like flashcards, electric flashcards on a website. And so that would be really helpful for you to learn formulas and walk through questions. So I recommend using those Quizlets. They also have practice tests, which practice tests are the best way to prepare. The more you do these questions, the better you're going to do on the final test. So make sure to use those resources. OntoCollege is awesome. Take it seriously. Do the work while you're in Rocket Seminar, and you've got about a month now before the actual test, so you can have some pretty good time to work on that and succeed. If you need help actually OntoCollege and how to access everything, you're going to want to go to your courses and then go ahead and walk through all of the ACT prep stuff. You'll just click ACT prep and see a lot of videos and amazing help for you guys. So please use it. There are other prep websites. So instead of OntoCollege, you could use ACT Academy or Khan Academy. ACT is going to be, the ACT Academy is solely for the ACT, and Khan Academy is for the SAT. But I recommend using that. The ACT one is only available if you have a fee waiver. So to get a fee waiver, you'd want to come talk to me, and we can see if you can get one of those. You have to qualify for like free reduced lunch or getting public assistance, etc. But we can see if you qualify. There are other ways to access online resources. One of those is through these types of strategy handouts. If you want a rundown of what the ACT is or the SAT is in a very short amount of time with really great videos to explain the sections, use this. You can even do it really, really quickly, go through the videos. Sometimes the videos are like 8 minutes long at most, typically, and it will walk you through everything. I will show you what it looks like. It's called TestGeek, and as you look down, you're actually going to see a table of contents of everything they have related to the ACT. You've got ACT prep introduction. You can kind of see what else is going on here and see what it is, and then you can actually read through each of the sections and what's included in each of the tests. So you've got reading, you have English, math, and science. And these little bits of information and videos can help explain some of the really key parts that will help you ace the test. And so those are strategies like reading strategies, reading passages better. I have a hard time reading passages in a quick amount of time. I watched this video and it's actually really helpful and helps improve the amount of time it takes for you to read stuff. The comma one, watch the comma video, please. Everybody needs to understand how commas work, and this is a great video to show you. It's really short too. So let me just kind of show you what I'm talking about. Let's go ahead and see if we want to look at those English tips. We're going to scroll down and actually see this video. This is the grammar rule number 1, subjects and verbs. And then if you keep scrolling down, you're going to see another grammar rule and another grammar rule. And now what? So after you watch those videos, it can actually give you some assistance. It gives you a link to a practice test. And then it actually asks or answers some frequently asked questions that you guys might have. So if you're looking for a way to kind of, find out, do I need to read everything in the passage? they will give you some tips on how to do that. So I'm going to recommend you do that. As I scroll down, you're going to see that there's math sections, and this one explains linear equations, trinomials, and trigonometry. I forgot what trinomials were, and I watched this and it was great. So make sure to do that if you are also a little bit confused on what these terms mean. And then there is the science section. It's not as detailed, but if you're wanting to get some help on the science stuff, please ask your science teachers, and also use this resource and keep practicing on those practice tests to really understand what they're asking for, okay? Make sure to look at these facts. So I'm going to go ahead and scroll back up. This is a fantastic resource. It looks a little bit long, but it goes really quickly because you get on a video and you do some practice tests or questions, and it's really, really great. So please use it. I'm going to hop off on this one and just show you real quick that there are more ways to practice. These practice tests are excellent, and when you download them or you open them up, you can actually do the tests. And if you need help accessing them, or if the link isn't working, you just let me know. And remember that the scores that you're going to get after you've completed your practice tests, or excuse me, the actual test, so the one on February 23rd, you're going to be sending those scores to schools. You're actually going to have 4 scores to send that day. And so you're going to list 4 schools that you want the test scores to go to. When you are actually in that point and at the test and it says what 4 schools do you want it sent to, make sure that you pick schools that you actually want to go to. So take a second, do a little bit of research before the ACT to know which schools those would be. And then you get those 4 sends are free. And so make sure that you use that. Otherwise, you're going to have to send your scores to the schools later, and it does cost a little bit of money. I think it's like $13 for each send. That is basically how to prepare. Really, in a nutshell, it's just to practice. And using OntoCollege, using these resources, using the cheat sheets, those are excellent ways to do that. In the future, you're going to be registering for later tests. The school will not be administering any other ones for juniors. The one in February is going to be the last one administered for you guys. So every other one you do later is you're going to have to actually register for it. These are the upcoming dates you can check out. Here's some registration videos to understand how to do that. And if you need a fee waiver, because the test costs a little bit of money, if you need a fee waiver, you just let me know. You can always set up a meeting with me or follow my Instagram, where I post a lot of important stuff, and email me at any time by clicking these buttons, or just search my name, Lester, on your email account. This is basically a rundown of the ACT in this particular website. You guys know that this paper test is available for you inside my office, so just come and get it. And anything else you need in terms of ACT prep, just let me know. And again, future prep sessions will be available, but I wish you all the best, and please let me know if you need anything. Thanks.